You're doing the work, but you're not seeing the gains. You follow the advice. You try to be disciplined. You tell yourself you're being responsible. And yet, the gap between you and the quietly rich just keeps getting wider. Not because you're lazy, not because you don't care, but because some of the behaviors you've been taught to trust feel productive while quietly keeping you stuck. That's the frustrating part no one talks about. Today we eliminate those behaviors. By the end of this video, you'll stop wasting effort on things that only look like progress. Start moving the way people who actually get rich move. Stay with me now. Behavior 1. They treat small wins like big wins. Quietly wealthy people treat small wins like big wins. And this is where most people unknowingly sabotage themselves. Because when progress feels small, people emotionally punish it. They save a little money and think, yeah, but it's not enough. They make one disciplined choice and immediately say, this won't really change anything. That reaction matters more than the action. Here's why. Every time you dismiss a small win, you teach your brain that effort isn't worth repeating. So the next time discipline shows up, motivation doesn't come with it. Quietly wealthy people do the opposite. They save $20 and think, good, I kept a promise to myself. They spend an hour learning something useful and think, that's another brick. Not because the brick is impressive, but because a wall only exists if you keep laying bricks. Most people want the wall first. Quietly wealthy people respect the brick. And here's the part people miss. Acknowledging progress creates momentum. Momentum makes discipline easier. Discipline makes consistency automatic. And consistency is where money actually starts to grow. So if you've been making small improvements, budgeting a little better, thinking longer term, being more intentional, and telling yourself it doesn't count. It counts. That mindset alone puts you ahead of most people. Behavior 2. They buy speed, not status. Here's the second quiet behavior, and it separates people fast. Quietly wealthy people spend money to buy speed, not status. They're not trying to look successful. They're trying to move forward faster. Most people are trained to spend money for appearance. Better clothes, better car, better image. And none of it actually changes their trajectory. Wealthy people think differently. They ask what shortens the path. That might be a book that saves years of mistakes. A course that collapses trial and error. A tool that gives back hours every week. And no, this doesn't require a lot of money. Speed can be bought cheaply if you're intentional. One skill learned early compounds longer. 1 hour saved daily adds up fast. One good decision beats 10 flashy ones. Here's the hard truth. Every dollar spent on status delays your future. Every dollar spent on speed accelerates it. And if you've ever chosen progress over appearances, even once, you already think more like someone who eventually gets rich than you realize. Behavior 3. They decide from identity, not emotion. This is the deepest shift, and the one that changes everything. Quietly wealthy people don't ask, do I feel motivated today? They ask, who am I becoming? Motivation is unreliable. Emotion changes daily, but identity compounds. When someone decides, I'm the kind of person who handles money responsibly, decisions stop being exhausting, saving isn't willpower anymore, learning isn't effort anymore. Consistency isn't a fight. It's alignment. And this is where most people get uncomfortable because identity removes excuses. It doesn't wait for confidence. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. Identity says, act first, feel later. And here's the part you need to hear clearly. If something in you is trying to improve, if you're watching this instead of numbing out, that means your identity is already shifting. This is not motivation. This is self-construction. You are actively building a new version of yourself. And once identity shifts, money always follows. Not immediately, not magically, inevitably. Let me slow this down for a moment. If this feels familiar, if you're nodding along thinking, I've heard versions of this before. Good. Because information was never the problem. Fake progress feels identical to real progress. Until years pass and nothing changes. Most people stay busy. They consume advice. They plan endlessly. Quietly wealthy people collect something else. Evidence. Evidence that they follow through. Evidence that they keep promises to themselves. Evidence that today moved them forward, even slightly. That's the difference. And if you felt stuck despite effort, that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're right at the line between noise and momentum. Let me tell you a quick story. Something most people never notice. I know someone who, for years, quietly stacked small wins every day. No one cheered, no one noticed. He spent 20 minutes learning a skill here, skipped a small purchase there, just kept making tiny decisions that added up. 5 years later, those tiny choices became a momentum nobody could stop. That's how quietly wealthy people move. Almost invisible, almost effortless, but unstoppable. Now, take a second and think about your own week. One small win you ignored. What if you had celebrated it? Stacked it day by day? One place you spent on appearance instead of speed. What could that have added to your momentum? Picture yourself doing that consistently. Just a little each day. Can you see how it starts to compound? And if you keep at it, you'll realize you're already closer than you think. Now, lean in for a second. I'm going to tell you something most people never hear. The quietly wealthy, they don't make loud moves. They don't broadcast. They don't wait for motivation. They just keep building. A little bit at a time. Every day they choose the next small step. Quietly, like nobody's watching. Here's the part no one talks about. The moment that actually changes everything isn't flashy. It's not a check in the bank or a new car. It's the moment you stop arguing with yourself, when following through becomes natural. When your decisions stop feeling like a struggle and start feeling like you. Most people quit right before that moment. They panic when the world doesn't notice. They assume they're failing when progress looks invisible. But that invisibility, that's exactly what makes it powerful. It means no one can stop you. No distractions can shake you. You're building the foundation quietly. And quietly always wins. Listen carefully. You don't need to outrun anyone else. You just need to outlast the version of yourself that used to give up. Every choice you make right now, even small, unseen ones, is quietly stacking in your favor. And if you keep at it, if you align your actions with the person you're becoming, one day you'll look up and realize things have changed. Not because the world finally noticed, but because you became someone who commands it without asking. That's the secret. It's simple. It's quiet. And it's yours if you stick with it. You're already closer than you think. Subscribe to Millionaire Monologues, where words become wealth. And check out this video right here. Your future may depend on it.